Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. It's lovely to have your company again today. It's Friday and it's something to do with writing and reading, so I thought, since I had such wonderful comments and great feedback from my first chapter of Mabon Yule, thank you very much if you were one of the people who contacted me. Not everybody left comments below the video, but they sent me emails and texts, and I'm so grateful. Honestly, I'm so delighted you enjoyed it. So I thought I'd treat you and read the second draft chapter for you today from Mabon Yule. And if you like to read it instead of listening to it, then I will link the Patreon link below this video, because that's where you can read the chapter for free. So let's dive right in, shall we? This second chapter is called Anyara, the Healer. I'm up especially early this morning. The lovely sounds of birdsong greet me as I yawn and stretch before getting out of my warm bed. Meteorologists predicted a glorious day. It was so rare these days. I wanted to be up and out, watching the sun rise over the sacred grove. Disappointment about my non-interaction with Leo last night and excitement for today kept me tossing and turning. I should be tired, but I'm not. Energy fizzes through my body. Seize the day, I think to myself. Tomorrow, the sky will most likely revert to its usual murky, milky white. Too many days like that have blurred one into another. Clear blue skies and sunshine have become difficult even to visualize anymore. The way Zira describes her childhood, with distinct, vibrant seasons, makes it seem like she lived on a different planet. But I believe her though, because even in the past few years, summer's heat waves obscure the blue skies almost as much as autumn and winter's perpetual woolly greyness. Dressing quickly, I pull my socks high up my legs before lacing and double knotting my boots, ensuring no nasties find their way onto my legs as I walk through the long grass beyond the sacred grove. I untie and roll up the wooden shutters, letting the scent of sunshine drift through the windows of my new home. It's closer to Zira's house now, though not as high in the trees as hers. Still, it's so much better than being on the ground, where youngsters ran around playing and shouting when I craved peace and quiet. My days of such carefreeness are over, and in a way, I'm glad. It never suited me. I always felt I didn't belong. Things are different now. I have a purpose, and I'm grateful to Zira for choosing me from among the others to train as a herbalist. I can't help wondering why she chose me, but I'd rather not ask. Maybe time will reveal the reason. The air streaming through my window mingles with the smell of coffee in my mug and the lingering echoes of the bonfire from last night's festival. As soon as I finish my coffee, I close my windows again, tying them tightly. It won't do to leave them open while I'm away. Not that I don't trust my clan members, but securing my home gives me a sense of safety. My home is one of my treasures, though I'd never admit it to anyone. I loved my sturdy tent when I first arrived, but when Zira suggested adding my name to the list of those eligible for tree houses, I could have squealed with delight and hugged her. I did neither. Instead, I remained composed. Over the past 2 weeks, I've been decorating my new home. I started in the bathroom, using dried palm fronds fixed to the walls with mud. It looks amazing. My next project is to use flowers for the walls in the open space. But today's foraging excursion also requires gathering some more of the herbs Zira wants. So I'd better get a move on. I open my door, close my eyes, and inhale. The sounds of the sacred grove envelop me in the best way. The air smells of warmth and promises freedom, perhaps even happiness, even only for today. Lingering aromas from last night's festival still drift through the trees and, no doubt, embedded itself in the soil. Summer is almost over. The sharp, burnt taste of early autumn tickles my nostrils, settling at the back of my throat. It's not unpleasant, just different, something to get used to again. Moving quietly, I lock the padlock to my door and slip the key into my pocket. Overhead, a few stars still glimmer against the fading night sky, which is softening into hues of lighter blue and orange in the east. The nearly full moon hangs like a balloon without a string. I pull my green workhorse parka closer against the chill that signals autumn's unwelcome approach. The trees around my home already display a few dried brown leaves, soon to be stripped away, leaving them naked, like sculptures, nature's lace, until spring. Gripping my basket, I swing it over my shoulder. The bread, berries, and flask with tea I prepared last night will sustain me until I return. I smile, imagining my basket brimming with herbs and plants I need for my work as a healer. It brings me such joy and comfort to know I'm doing something meaningful for our clan. Zero said, I have only a few more tests before the ceremony that would cement my role as healer. The thoughts are thrilling, though tinged with sadness. It's not something I ever thought possible for myself, and how wonderful if my family could see my achievements. Memories of my parents and sister surface when I let my guard down. No one could have foreseen the enormous ocean surge that swept away our village. I survived only because I was visiting my grandparents on higher ground. I pushed those thoughts away. No time for such sadness today, not on a day like this. Carpe diem, seize the day, I whisper, the words aloud, savouring their sound. Setting off along the sturdy wooden paths through the trees, I walk on tiptoes to avoid waking my clan members as I pass their tree houses. Instead, I focus on thoughts of Zira's delight and amazement at my progress. More and more she trusts me to forage alone. If I'm honest, I take pride in being such a quick learner. Moving fast in the silence past other tree houses, I spot the scientists' 3D printed buildings on the forest's far side. Beyond them, the hill rises to one side, and to the other stand the Archdruid's home, an ancient castle turned part-time residence. I never saw how Diane transformed part of the castle into a home. It was before my time here, but I've heard it's beautiful. He occupies only 2 floors, leaving the rest in its ruined state. I admire that about him. He respects nature, choosing to leave things as they are, even though I know he could restore the entire structure if he wished. His power is undeniable. I can sense it in him, just as I can sense it in his son, though Leo's is subtler. The memory of last night returns when I thought I saw power radiating from around Dian during the festival. It seemed enormous, bright and tangible. But I must have imagined it because it's never happened before. It must have been the light from the bonfire. Still, it left me feeling shocked and dizzy. Reaching the rope ladder, I let it drop and descend to the ground. I walk fast, keeping my distance from the large communal structure where everyone gathers for meals, entertainment, and important meetings. Silent now, it sits like a moss-covered bug to the left of the sacred grove's entrance. Nearby, the last few tents remain for newcomers, proving their loyalty before earning tree houses. To the right, Dian's ancient ruined castle looms, an imposing barrier between the sacred grove and the hills beyond. It's a stark reminder that, despite our haven, these were dangerous times. People outside are homeless, hungry, and desperate. We are lucky to have Tien, a kind, generous, and wealthy leader. On the periphery, Druid guards patrol with their rifles. AK-47s, I've heard them call. The number makes them even more detached from anything peaceful, but I understand their necessity. The guards resemble a military unit more than Druids, but they wave at me, their smiles friendly. My eyes drift again to the castle, its ancient grandeur striking even from here. It's much larger than it appears from the treetops. I admire how Tien converted it into a home for himself and Leo. I push air through my lips as my heart clenches. A weird sensation sits in my stomach as thoughts of Leo surface. His stunning green eyes flash through my mind, reflecting laughter, curiosity, sadness, and mischief. How could I have mistaken his flirtatious winks during mealtimes for something more? Last night made it clear he had no interest in me. His dismissal was cold and heartless, and he couldn't even meet my eyes. I sigh again, shaking my head. I'm used to burying my feelings where no one can see them. Adding Leo to that list shouldn't be hard, but it may take time. The wound is fresh and raw, and it hurts. Pushing my shoulders back, I refocus on my path, leaving behind the scents and echoes of last night's Mabon festival. Dried brown and yellow leaves crunch beneath my boots as sunlight filters through the branches, casting dappled patterns on the ground. For hours I lose myself in foraging, collecting the herbs Zero requested, and a few I need for my own experiments. My thoughts, however, keep returning to Leo, his warmth, his beauty, and the impossibility of my feelings for him. When my basket overflows with plants and their intoxicating aromas, I find a small clearing to rest. Sitting down, I retrieve my breakfast, but my hand freezes midway to my mouth. Did I imagine the soft male voices? Slowly I rise and peer through the tall grasses. Across the clearing, I see Leo lying on his side, smiling and talking to someone hidden by the foliage. A hand reaches up, touching Leo's face, and pulls him down. Was it a man's hand? My eyes didn't deceive me, but it doesn't make sense. Leo has never shown any signs of being gay. I've never seen him in a romantic situation with anyone, male or female. It feels as though something heavy has slammed into my chest, leaving a crushing weight. A huge hand seems to squeeze my heart, and I want to scream, but no tears come. Instead, my legs buckle and I slump against the mossy tree behind me. So much for thinking I could suppress or ignore my feelings for Leo. My body trembles from the shock. I want to run, but I'm frozen. The other man's head appears above the foliage. I recognize him instantly, the scientist from last night. Zero had freaked out when the scientists arrived at our festival, and Leo practically shoved her aside in his rush to get to the guy. Duncan. That's what Zero called him, along with several colourful expletives. Duncan's short, dark hair is in sharp contrast to Leo's long golden curls as they embrace and kiss. Leo's muscled arms pull him close, encircling him with passion. Those arms. I've longed to feel them around me the way he holds his lover. For so long, I told myself my feelings for Leo were just infatuation, a childish crush. But I'm no child anymore, am I? Leo was one reason I buried myself in my studies as a healer, hoping to elevate myself in his eyes, or at the very least, to distract myself. But now that I know the truth, how will I heal from him? Well, that's the end of the draft chapter of chapter 2, I should say, the draft chapter 2 of Mabon and Yule. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've enjoyed it. Let me know if I'm going in the right direction for you, that it's something you're interested in. I'd love to know your thoughts. So thank you very much for spending time with me and listening to this, and I shall speak to you very, very soon. Mwah.